MSNBC, whatever you're looking at, Bloomberg, etc. It's almost like the scriptwriters. Now, listen, I have talked to psychological operations officers at Northcom. Quote, unquote, there is nothing that hits the media, printed, broadcast, or spoken on the radio in the mainstream that they don't monitor on a daily basis and that they don't originate or officiate. In other words, that's why all the news changes. I saw somebody posting something that said the first story is always...
Steve, we're losing you. Your phone volume's going up and down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yep. The situation that the news media always uses the same words, okay? The neuro-linguistic program, repeat it.
No, it's all scripted. It's all scripted globally. You can tell exactly.
Absolutely. So what I'm saying is the idea is that this is this is just the carrier wave of the next wave to come. And the next wave to come is going to be very, very deadly and very, very dangerous. But that does not mean that this thing can be dismissed. Listen, these guys test, and retest, okay? By selectively introducing a genetically altered virus and testing it on a specific subject group, they can tell if there's a natural resistance that they didn't anticipate. You see, Alex, 80% death isn't enough. 90% certainly isn't good enough. They want 100% lethal dose or lethal kill
So
ratio.
This is wargaming, the response, the propaganda, all of it. I agree. That's how they operate. And then you have, look, the final piece is Baxter, the company involved with Bayer, knowingly shipping out HIV and hepatitis to over 1 million people in the Factor VIII vaccines. That is on record. That is on record, mainstream news. Just Google Factor VIII, folks. It'll blow you away. MSNBC, AP, knowingly. And they just say, oh, we knowingly did it, and they're still in business. Now they get caught mixing live bird flu with the vaccine stocks in Europe, and now the UN chooses them to make the vaccine for that. I mean, how would you trust these people to clean toilets, much less be making the vaccine?
I wouldn't, but remember this, Janet Napolitano declared a health emergency. And remember, Alex, when you and I were beating the drum on the Medical Emergency Health Powers Act or something, MEPA, M-E-H-P-A? I think everybody better go Google that. And the thing is, I may have a couple of the initials backwards or something, but basically it gives, under a health emergency, this is the prima facie cause for the declaration of martial law. You don't take the vaccine, you go into the camps. I'm telling you, this is...
No. I mean, Steve, you're right. They have always drilled and trained on record that they're going to lock down, do forced inoculations. They've trained the clergy response teams. The first thing is tell the people, let's have the Lord to take the shots, go to the camps to turn their guns in. They have drilled the whole martial law architecture, not around fighting Al-Qaeda, but around confiscating guns during a breakdown of society, during forced inoculations. You are absolutely right, and I just hope this isn't the big one.
Well, I believe it's a big one, and you said a powerful statement. These doctors, especially the gentleman you're quoting in the University of Texas, remember this, a doctor is trained with one twist of the scalpel one way to cure, with a twist of the scalpel the other way it kills, or he or they kill. Look at the greatest mass murders in history, Alex, and besides, of course, the Aztecs and others, but the thing is that they're doctors, obviously Dr. Mengele, obviously Dr. Ishii of World War II fame, and it's fascinating. When you even take the higher-ups of Al-Qaeda, they're doctors, they're medical doctors. The point that I'm trying to make here is this, is that you have a group of sinister, sold out to Satan individuals that control the world's financial structure that now have been given the go-ahead to launch the destruction of the planetary population through all and every means.
Well, they're
feasible.
Luciferian witch doctors. It goes back to their original calling, the twin snakes.
Absolutely. And the point that people have to recognize is that if you don't act now, you'll be forced to react later. And I'm getting emails because I put out the red alert, orange alert. And by the way, can I make something clear? When I put out the red alert, and I don't know if you've heard about this, some people, I didn't call it that, but it'd be called the red screen of death. That means that you've got 2 weeks before the hammer falls. Don't dismiss my orange alert. It was right. I'm telling you, this weekend's going to get very, very problematic. And from that point forward, I can't say that, at what time, because I know the July date for the exercise of bringing in all the NATO troops. And Alex, no one will come clean with how many NATO troops are being brought into the country.
Oh my gosh, I forgot they're having a huge NATO drill in Mexico and Arizona. They're having FEMA drills all over the country set for next month. 4 pathogenogenic releases. I covered that last week when you were on and other shows. I'm starting to put this is very bizarre coincidence if it's not on purpose.
There are no coincidences, Alex.
In politics
that you and I discuss, there are no coincidences.
Well, certainly not in the world of politics, like Roosevelt said. If something happens, you can know it was planned that way in politics. And you put all of this together, it certainly is a very, very interesting time to be alive. Steve, I want to throw this out now. I have got a meeting I've got to go to in about 15 minutes after the show's over, but I promise to go to about 15 callers. If we give them each 1 minute when we come back, that would be 15 over into overdrive. Will you do a 15 minutes of overdrive with me?
Sure, I'll do whatever you want, because it's that important, Alex. Listen, our days are numbered. Let me share this with you. Ladies and gentlemen, the warnings are only in effect until the events take place. When the events are taking place, the warnings cease. That's where I believe we are, Alex. We are now in the last bits of time that the mercy of the God of heaven is granting this nation, to actually pleading with this nation through you, me, others that are warning. But the point is, the warnings are over. It's now implementation time. They don't get any more time. We are out of time. It's in effect now.
Wow, Steve, I never heard you really talk like this. And just last week you said an orange alert, in the next month they're going to drop the hammer, and I've never seen you do something like that. And then that's why I had you on today, and I'm going from memory, but it was either on your show last Thursday, Thursday before last, or that Monday 8 days ago that you did talk about flu being the issue. So we're going to come back and take calls, going to overdrive. Stay with us. I want to let you know about a few final sponsors before we end the main transmission. Then we'll go to internet only at prisonplanet.tv. And for the tens of thousands of people listening on the free streams at Infowars.com. We are number 1 on Shoutcast now, basically all the time. Radio, music, talk, number 1, period. And all of our streams don't even register on there. We're trying to figure out how to make them all show up. But really exciting. And don't forget that we have free podcast. Go to the Alex Jones Radio Show link at the top of Infowars.com. There at the top tab by the home and news and multimedia links, Prison Planet forum links, shop links. You can click on Alex Jones Radio Show and subscribe to the free daily podcast with the 4 hours is served after the end of the show. We'll go back to Steve at stevequayle.com, spelled Quayle, in just a moment, and take calls from the Genesis board. Nathan, Leo, Bill, Dominic, JD. A few of those guys we need to call our 1-800 number if we don't get to them, so they can at least be on the other phone system where everybody else is holding over there for Steve Quayle. I want to tell you about 2 sponsors first, though, before we go back to your calls. One of them is a Cola Blue, the best atmospheric water generator out there. Just a fabulous system with 7 internal filters, a computer system, a great digital readout, 7.5 gallons a day. 7 filters, including reverse osmosis and carbon. Simple to use. No chemicals, pollutants, or toxins. Neutral pH. On your own source of clean drinking water right out of the air. EcoloBlue.com. ECOLO Blue.com. ECOLO Blue.com or 800-691-6043. 1-800-691-6043. And last but not least, don't forget Max, the Orange Home Game Gorilla, on Infowars.com. There is a banner link to him at Infowars.com. Let me tell you a little bit about one of the great sponsors. Again, HomeGain, HomeGain.com. HomeGain.com. Find out how much your house is worth. It's instant. It's free all over the country and North America. They also have a home sale maximizer that tells you the best ways to get basic improvements on your home that are inexpensive, that'll boost the sale of your home massively. HomeGain.com. Okay, let's take a few calls for Steve Quayle now from the Genesis board, and then I want to give the folks, we probably won't get to Bill, Dominique, and JD. Only those guys can call this number right now because others are on hold there. 888-201-2244, 888-201-2244, and we'll go to you guys when the show ends and goes to internet only. 888-201-2244, and everybody else that's holding. But right now, Nathan in New York, you're on the air with Steve Quayle. Go ahead. Go ahead, Nathan, you're on the air. Okay, he's gone. Let's go to Leo in Missouri. Go ahead, or is it Montana? Leo, you're on the air.
Hey, Alex. Hey, Steve. I You guys stole a little bit of my thunder. I'm one of the guys that happens to think this may be real based on that 96 Air Force article that came out saying that 30 million people would be killed by the flu.
And by the way, I dropped the ball on that. I meant to cover that at the start of the show. When we go into overdrive, I'm going to cover that at Infowars.com. Go ahead.
Okay, and then the other reason I think it may be real is all these mass graves that are popping up. They're being dug for a reason. It's not just one of these things where...
And by the way, that's not a rumor. I have the mainstream news articles, and I have the executive orders right here. We're going to cover that, too, when we come back, where they are building mass graves. Then they'll use a straw man grave that isn't real to discredit it. Steve Quayle.
Well, absolutely. The caller is absolutely right. You know, Alex, how much more in our face does it have to be? And my answer to that is probably you have to be on your back with the last bits of life looking up at the dirt they're throwing in on you at the mass grave. This should really make most people infuriated.